Hey guys, Fhraelaok here again. Thanks for tuning in. This is the second aspect of being a raid leader and what you have to focus on. This one has to do with what loot system am I going to use. This is also very important. Given people might not be loot oriented, they still want to see it given out fairly. It really does reflect on both you as a raid leader, you as a person, and your entire guild. Especially if a pug is in it. Just in case you haven't heard that used, pug is PUG for a pickup group. It's used even as a term for one person. You're a pug, you're not normally in the team, we just picked you up. But some people are loot oriented, and if you are, you really got to know what your loot system is and how it really works, so that when something goes to somebody, you're not upset about it, and your members aren't upset about it. So, we'll start with /roll. It's an open roll, fair rolling system. Highest roller wins, main spec and gear type first. Of course, that should go for any type of system. You always want to see clothies getting cloth first, and healers getting healing gear, tanks getting tank gear, etc. But, I mean, you can specialize this from only one person, or you can only get one loot in this entire raid, and then, everybody else has a chance on it before you get to roll on a second piece. Or you can do it, one piece per boss, or, just luck of the roll. That's how I do it. If you're going to be using roll anyway, good luck. If you happen to win everything that night, I mean, if everything drops for you, congrats. You got really lucky that night. I doubt it's going to happen again. Plus, you already have the gear. You come again, you're not going to need that gear. So it really depends on what you like about that. Loot Council, that's like I said, between 1 to 5 people will decide who gets what gear. Generally, you would gear tanks and healers up first, and then your DPS. But, this was really, really good for when you had to give out tier pieces. You would decide, tanks need it first, and then healers will get it, and then the DPS will get it. Which sometimes was, you had a new tank in there recently, and they get the gear first, it's kind of unfair. Or, it always drops for your healer or something first, and they always get it, and the others are kind of upset because they want some gear. But it does push equal gearing and fast progression if you're gearing up what you need to first. Suicide Kings. It gives priority in a list system. There's a list of people. Number 1 on the list gets priority on the loot going down the list. If that person doesn't want it, the next person can choose if he wants it or not. Once you take it, you get boosted down to the bottom of that list. That can be rough as, there might be one person getting all this certain type of loot because another person doesn't need it or whatever. It can get thrown all around. Not too many guilds actually use that anymore. DKP prioritizes gear to senior members. If you're always getting new people and you hate to see somebody get a new piece of gear and then they leave the guild or something, or they just happen to not raid anymore, then you might like DKP. You earn points as you raid, and then you can spend that on gear. Highest bidder wins, depending. There's a lot of different ways of doing it. I've had it to where you would roll out of how much ever DKP you were choosing to possibly use. Like, you have 500, you're like, I'm going to, take a chance out of 250. This guy's like, I only want to take a chance out of 100 of mine. So you roll out of that. That just means the person that bid the more has a higher chance of rolling that higher number and beating him. And it also really pushes for a higher attendance rate. But it can also hurt. If someone's not able to make it, they're going to have a way lower chance on gear, and they may end up leaving your guild. Or if you invite somebody new in and they don't like having to earn all the way back up and everybody else getting the loot, that can be bad as well. But hopefully by then people already have the gear. Again, all these depend on what your guild wants to use. I highly suggest doing the same thing that your core team's doing. If you are going to be the core team, figure out what your members would like and what you think is going to work. Do you have attendance issues? Maybe DKP is a good idea. Are your guys all about, let's equally gear people up, let's get everybody here for progression? Loot council might work. If everybody's just like, they don't care about what loot system, let's just do a roll, and whoever gets the gear gets the gear. And that's fine. we've been doing that, and like I said, a lot of people do that for 10 mans, but not 25s. I do have a DKP video out, guys, on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Fhraelaok. Check it out if you want to know how the DKP system works. I explain it as best I can. I'm sure there's a lot of more things I could have added into that. I will try to incorporate a Suicide Kings video soon and a Loot Council system soon, and go from there. Our next aspect of raid leading will be in the next video, guys. Be sure to click subscribe, the big yellow button, and on YouTube, and check out the new video when it comes out. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Check us out at dragonsofabyss.wowstead.com or dragonsofAbyss.com, our community site. Thanks.